Hello. And welcome back to my channel and the third part of called What If Deku Had the World.
Deku Stan jumps to All Might on a rooftop asking if he can get an autograph. All Might is surprised as he starts steaming. Out of nowhere, clouds of smoke form around All Might. As the clouds disappear, All Might is replaced by a skinny bones guy with the same eyes but a different yellow hairstyle than him. Deku calls the random guy a fake, but he tells Deku that he is All Might. Deku is surprised and shocked that this is the true form of All Might. All Might tells Deku that he doesn't need to tell anyone about this. All Might explained to Deku that he got an injury from fighting a villain and that surgery barely helped. Due to the injury, he can only use All for 3 hours a day. All Might asked if Deku had a quirk and if he was going to UA high school. Deku remembers that he can't tell anyone about his powers and tells All Might that he doesn't have any. All Might tells Deku to stay out of trouble and says bye. At night after Deku's training, he goes home and immediately goes to his room. He locks the door and casts Zawarudo from his body. Deku asks Zawarudo about what this mask is, how it can make a man powerful, and how much. Zawarudo tells Deku the mask removes all limitations of the wearer. However, the red stone makes people who wear the mask even stronger. It is activated by blood being put on it. It turns people into vampires. Deku is kinda scared that Zawarudo told him that. Deku hides the mask in his dresser and goes to sleep. Time jumps to 2 days before UA high school. While Deku is in his room, he takes his mask, puts the red stone inside the mask, and slowly puts it onto his face. Deku uses one of his shurikens to cut his hand and put his blood on the mask. The mask activates as Deku is stabbed all over his face as he tries to scream. Deku tries to pull off the mask but passes out from pain. Deku wakes up and sees the mask off his face. He then goes to his bathroom and sees that he has fangs in his mouth. He is now a vampire. Deku has breakfast with his mom and she asks him if he's okay since she heard noises from his room. Deku replies that he's okay as he finishes his breakfast and goes into the woods. Deku takes off his shirt as he's quite ripped as he was in the regular timeline. Deku winds up a punch and punches through a tree. Deku is looking at his arm because he's extremely strong now. He has unlimited stamina and no strain on his body anymore. Zawarudo tells Deku that he is now ready to learn his final technique. Zawarudo tells Deku to say his name out loud in his mind. Deku does this and absorbs the light around him as the birds flying over him are suspended in midair, leaves stop falling on the ground, and no more sounds are heard. Deku has used Zawarudo's signature technique, Time Stop. Zawarudo explains that his power stops time and allows him and Deku to move freely. During the time stop, nobody can see or feel what's going on and all damage in the time stop will show after time starts again. Zawarudo tells Deku he can stop time up to 11 seconds. Deku uses his hand to karate chop slice through a tree as the tree is frozen in midair. Deku is so surprised at how much power he has at his disposal. Deku asks Zawarudo what other abilities the mask has and he answers that he can drink blood to regenerate and bring back people from the dead. Sometimes sucking people's blood grows Zawarudo's power for a short time, turn people into zombies, have laser vision, he can put his ear to the ground to hear heartbeats, have superhuman powers, and senses, flight, hypnosis, produce flesh buds to take over and control others, and remove fluids from his body to freeze people's bodies. Deku decides to focus on mastering his ice powers, aka his vaporation freezing technique. Deku goes to a nearby pond in the forest and picks up a fish. He focuses on lowering his temperature till he can freeze the fish. He manages to do it, but it takes a little too long. Deku continues to practice on tree branches, fish, and rocks for the remainder of the day. It took Deku 4 seconds to freeze his hand to freeze an entire fish, but now it takes 2 seconds. Deku also makes sure to practice shooting his laser stingy eyes on glass bottles he sets up in the woods. Deku is quite proud of himself for getting a stand and finding a red stone mask to make him superhumanly endless. The next day in the forest, Deku puts his ear to the ground and tries to listen for any heartbeats. He ends up hearing a slow heartbeat, meaning an animal was going to die. Deku flies around and sees a deer dying on the ground. He takes this opportunity to sink his claws into the deer's stomach and starts draining the blood from its body. Deku then pours his blood into the deer's cuts as its wound closes up and it gets back up perfectly healthy. Deku is imagining surpassing everyone with his newfound powers and endless energy. As nightfall is approaching, Deku decides to go back home. As he reaches his home, police officers greet and inform Deku saying, "Your mother is ill and is going to the hospital." Deku instantly asks if she's okay and why she's in the hospital, and the police officer says that she suffered a heart attack. 2 hours later at 4 a.m., Deku is watching his mother lying unconscious in her hospital, wondering if she'll wake up again. The doctor comes in and says that she'll need surgery due to her heart not working properly. The surgery will cost Deku $30,000, and if she doesn't get the surgery within 2 months, she'll die. Deku starts crying that he doesn't have the funds to cover the entire surgery. Deku says that he'll help in any way possible to get the funds for the surgery. Deku gets angry and vows to surpass everything and everyone and become the greatest hero of all time. Deku falls asleep in the hospital room. Deku wakes up at 8:30 and heads towards Ua High School. As Deku watches towards the entrance of the school, Bakugo tells Deku to move out of the way or he'll set him on fire with one of his explosions. Deku moves out of the way and in his mind says that Bakugo better be lucky that he's his childhood friend or he'll be in the hospital too. Deku trips forward until he stops falling. Deku knows he's not using his vamp powers to float. A voice coming from the girl next to Deku says, "Are you okay? I stopped you with my quirk before you hit the ground. I hope you don't mind. Well, anyway, see you later." The girl walks off as Deku blushes a little, but he stays chill with no nervousness. Deku was quite proud that a girl talked to him. Deku goes inside the school and proceeds to the UA High School Hero Exam Orientation Room. In this room, a lot of kids are sitting down listening to the school's DJ named Mike. He talks about how the practice exams will work and how they will be scored. The students are given cards with letters indicating which battle centers they will be held in. There they will be getting ready to fight between 1 to 3 points. Deku accidentally starts mumbling about how he'll get enough money to get the surgery for his mother's new heart. A kid with glasses points out that the UA orientation paper says there are 4 kinds of robots and wonders how the finest hero school in Japan is already making mistakes. The 4-eyed kid rats out Deku for mumbling and thinking he's distracting everyone and he should leave, which annoys Deku. Present Mike tells the kids that they have another robot that's put there for a distraction since they're worth no points at all. All of the students look at their cards and head towards their battle centers. Deku sees the girl who stopped him from falling. Deku is about to go say thanks but is stopped by Tenya Ida, who puts his hand on Deku's shoulder. Deku warns Tenya about touching him and tells him to let go or else. Tenya tells Deku that he won't allow Deku to distract others from their future dreams of being a hero. Deku grabs Tenya's hand and yanks his arm from its socket, making Tenya grab his arm in pain and fall to the ground. Deku walks away and leaves Tenya on the ground sobbing. Deku plans that he'll only use his unique abilities in his time stops where he can use them without anyone seeing them. He'll trick people into thinking he has super strength and speed in case people figure out he has powers. Present Mike tells the students to start since there's no warning for villains in a real fight. Deku brings out the world and goes around pummeling robots. In Deku's mind, he tells himself that he'll have to remain within the range of an average score to dismiss suspicion about his powers. He uses his stand leg to jump up to a Venator, aka a 3-pointer robot's face, and punches 2 times. He then flips off the robot's head as it blows up. As Deku is plummeting to the ground, he yells out "Za Warudo" as it shoots out an entire circle of rainbow colors and then sucks up all the colors from the sky and everything and everyone around him. He uses his stingy laser eyes to slice 2 1-pointer robots in half. Deku uses Za Warudo to kick Barrage, a 2-pointer robot, next. Time resumes as the robots are sent tumbling down and obliterated. In the spectator room, the teachers see Deku jumping and robots getting destroyed and just think that his powers are him moving fast and being extremely strong. They explain that the best scores are from people using their brains and brawn at the same time. After the exam is close to ending, a giant Zero, aka a 0-pointer, shows up. As Deku is slowly walking away, he hears a girl behind him requesting for help as the 0-pointer gets closer. Deku runs towards the robot as he sees a steamroller. He runs towards the steamroller, grabs it, files up while stopping time again, and slams it on the robot's skull as he punches the road roller over and over with his hands, mashing its head more. Deku flips off his head as time starts again and the robot completely blows up. All the others look at Deku amazed, wondering what kind of quirk he has. Deku racked up a good 30 points by himself, excluding his time-stopped points, and 60 more points for protecting Uraraka and destroying the zero-pointer in the entrance exam. Deku wasn't trying to get first place, but he's glad. Even Tenya is surprised that Deku is quicker and more powerful than him, but hates the fact that Deku dislocated his arm earlier. Deku is quite scared at home, thinking about what if he doesn't get into UA and what if his mother dies before she gets the surgery she needs. A week later, Deku receives a letter from UA High School in the mail from All Might saying that he's sorry because it takes a long time since he has to do a lot of these holographic messages for other students. He says that Deku did well on the written text and blew the competition out of the water by scoring 90 points, which amazed the judges. All Might say he's now chosen to enroll in UA High School. After 4 to 5 a.m. the next day, Deku is training with his mask powers to make them more potent. He sees All Might, then decides to stop and say hi to him. All Might congratulates the kid and tells him that he's quite proud of him and tell him a secret that he's been looking for an heir for his power called One for All, and he's looking at Bakugo as his successor. Deku believes that Bakugo is good for One for All, but his attitude is a problem, or he could choose someone from his class that's a good candidate. All Might says he
will have to think about it and leaves. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe to see more What If videos on my channel and have a good day.